a question, Stuart.
Yes.
Yes. Before coming to class, I kind of like to take about 10, 15 minutes to prepare myself for class.
Mhm.
I kind of like to feel the room, feel the energy, kind of release the tension of the day, maybe open all my chakras. And my question is, how do you prepare yourself for class? And how do you start your flow of energy? How do you start what Rudy would call the cycle of energy? From which chakra maybe do you start from? Or
Well, the chakra to start from is the hara, right below the navel. Because if you get your mind focused there, I mean, you could drop your arms at your side and ask for help to, you know, surrender all negative psychic tension. But once you get your attention here, that's the first step in the meditation, getting the attention below the navel. Because when that chakra opens, understand, it really will absorb all of the tension inside. It means the heart can open because it has foundation, it has rootedness, and then it all starts working. I mean, that's how I do it. First step is I just get centered here. Generally, maybe 20 minutes before class, I make sure I'm centered here. And then I come to the class open. I don't come to the class just to spend 45 minutes trying to get through my tension. I try to get through whatever tension I have 20 minutes, a half hour before the class. So I come open, I come ready to really receive the Shakti, the spiritual energy. I mean, that's my best advice. I mean, you could take a shower, you could run around the block 6 times, you could, you can do stuff that relaxes you. I mean, Rudy would watch television before. I mean, the Dick Van Dyke Show was big on his on his viewer list, and it relaxed him. He liked it. He would laugh and he would relax, and so you do whatever works for you. But the first step when you sit down to meditate should be sure you bring your attention below the navel. And that you should be practicing 20 minutes before, just getting centered, getting quiet inside. People think if they come with a lot of tension, and by the end of the meditation, there's less tension, they've had a good meditation. It's not the truth. You should come open, relaxed, ready to do deep inner work so that the Shakti and the energy takes you to another place inside yourself, to a higher level of consciousness. I mean, this is very important stuff because, I mean, I remember when I used to have Fourth Avenue and people would come off the elevator to the meditation fighting with each other. It was extraordinary, you know, to see that kind of thing. They were coming to a meditation class arguing with each other as they were getting off the elevator into the meditation center. And then I'd have to give long lectures about, preparing for class, an hour before you come here. And I think all of that is important.
so you always connect first to the how. That's always your first connection.
Yeah, because the heart is not going to really stay open unless the hara is open. You can get, kind of impulses and openings of the heart, but it always closes up because the mind gets involved. But if the attention is in the third chakra, right below the navel, and that opens and you really feel that grounding in yourself, then a little gratitude opens the heart. It's all it takes. It doesn't take a lot to open the heart. And the heart really can stay open because it's like a flower. It has a stem, it has roots. You know, we're no different. We have stems and roots and grounding, and we need foundation in order to sustain the meditation and our inner life. Caroline, you look like you're half asleep. You don't look like you're in the class. So please do something to wake yourself up and to be doing the meditation. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Third, I have a question, Bob Sink.
Yes, Bob.
What is an intelligent way to end the class?
I mean, an intelligent way. I don't know about an intelligent way, but the class is over. You're centered, you're quiet inside, and take it with you. Don't think the class is over. Now I'm going to start, building tension again. Take it with you. There's so much energy in these classes. Extraordinary. How much energy. And why leave it behind? Why let it, stay in Zoom? Take it with you. Stay open. Relax. Do things after class that relax you, that keep you open, and let the energy really work on you. The energy should work on you hours after the class is over. And then, silly things you don't have to get involved in. I mean, it's not a time to, you know, go to some discotheque and boogie your way through the night. Let the energy work on you. I mean, people think that, well, class is over now. I'm going to go fight with my uncle. It's not the way. Now it's time to, well, watch a television program, go to a movie, watch a movie, and do something that just calms you, so that that higher energy can truly take root inside. And then it becomes part of your everyday life. That's the intention of the class, to make this kind of energy truly part of our everyday life. I mean, I remember I told this story before, but it's a good moment for it. I used to have a student when I lived in Texas, who had practiced all kinds of meditation stuff, transcendental meditation a lot. And she would say, I would sit in my apartment, I would do it for 3, 4 hours, transcendental meditation. And then I would get up and I go out on the street, and within 5 minutes of being on the street, I would completely freak out. Well, the point of the meditation is not to leave it in the meditation room, it's to take it with you. So that when you're out on the streets, when you're driving, you're shopping, whatever you're doing, you're working at your job, you're centered, you're grounded, you've taken that energy with you. And I think, I don't know what else to say. I mean, the energy, the class is not a sign of whether you're growing spiritually. It's really not. Class, there's a lot of energy. Anybody, I don't care if you know, your brain's rattling with whatever, you can get quiet in a class like this. It's what happens 2 hours later that determines whether or not you are sustaining the meditation. When you're at your job and somebody in the office is a little bit wacko, and whether you can stay centered and balanced and you sustain the meditation and you can deal with the situation. I mean, a meditation class is not a spiritual life. Meditation class is where you build the inner life that enables you to have a spiritual life. Spiritual life is 24 hours a day. I always said the best sign of an ashram are the people that leave. When people leave ashrams, everybody freaks out and they're holding on to them. And why do you go? What do they leave with? What did they gain while they were in the ashram? What do they gain in the church, in the synagogue, that enables them to leave and live a conscious life when they leave? So the real determination is not the meditation class, it's when you leave. What do you take with you? I mean, do you leave the meditation class and life totally freaks you out and you go hiding in your bedroom and you don't want to go out of it's bullshit. Do you leave and go out and embrace the world and what it teaches and what we have to learn from it and how we can live a creative life? So it's what you leave the meditation with that determines how much you have grown spiritually. What takes place 2 hours from now, a day from now. And there's always going to be some drama that takes place in everybody's life. What do you take with you? That determines how you deal with life. And life determines whether or not you're having a spiritual life. Does anyone else have a question?
Thank you, Stuart. That was a great answer.
Welcome, Bob. No, I remember when I was running that ashram in Denton, when people would leave, it was like they were ripping my heart out. I was young, I was a kid, I didn't know, thought everybody had to stay and get this. It's what do they leave with? That's the real determination, whether an ashram works. What do people leave with? What can they take with them from the times? What can they take with them from the time spent in this meditation class? That determines whether this is working or not the class. There's a lot of energy. I mean, you could put Hitler in this class and he would calm down, or Putin or one of these, dictators come to a class and they would calm down. What they do with the energy after the class, that's a whole other matter. I remember once in Denton, I had walked into a class and there were about 4 guys sitting there that were all about 6'3" to 6'6" and weighed 250 pounds. I couldn't, I was sitting in the and I said, oh my God, who are these? And, they had learned the exercise from one of my students. Turned out they were members of a professional football team that were playing in Dallas, and they came up to find out what this was all about. And they went to class and then they played football, professional football. Does anyone else have a question you'd like to ask? They were nice guys. They came to dinner afterwards. We talked. We had a very nice time with them. Very, you know, actually quiet, nice guys. I liked them a lot. But all the energy of the meditation wound up on a football field. Does anyone else have a question? Remember, I had a candy business there in Texas, and there was a guy I met who was an very rather famous ex-football player for the Dallas Cowboys. And in order to build the candy business, I knew I had to do advertising. So he introduced me to all the cheerleaders of the Dallas Cowboys to get them into an ad with me for Tanya. I'll never forget that. It's the midst of all these cheerleaders. trying to talk them into doing an ad with me for Tanya candy bars. Does anyone else have a question? Well, there's beautiful 20-year-old women who had tons of energy, really a lot of energy. And what happens to them when they're 30 and 40 years old? You know, all that energy is used up. And then it becomes, you know, facelifts and this and that, the other body. A little bit scary, huh? What happens to people as they get older? Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? So get centered. You know, bring your attention below the navel. Get that balance, that power of chi and open heart, because real beauty is inside each and every one of us. It's not physical beauty, you know, that disappears as people get older. It's what's inside us. That really is the beauty. That's something that Vogue and Elle and all those magazines really don't know anything about, is tapping the real beauty in a human being. And that's inside each and every one of us. Chakra system opens, the heart opens, people become radiantly beautiful. I mean, they get beautiful. Something shines inside them that doesn't ordinarily shine in people. Okay, if there are no more questions, God bless you all. Thank you. And we'll have meditation Sunday. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. Have a wonderful evening. God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you for being in my life and being here doing this meditation.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart.